quite like this book from Pinto. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but I like this example that she talks about. And it's quite a simple example, drawing attention to the importance of language in connection with culturally responsive schooling. So she says, this idea, and all of us do this sort of thing, we'll say things like, shall we take our seats now? Shall we line up at the door? Shall we be a little bit quieter? Maybe we don't use that exact sort of language, but we phrase things in that sort of way. And part of it is this idea of getting students to take responsibility for their own behaviour and their own learning, and to think about their responsibilities within the classroom. So it sort of makes sense. But do we mean it in that sort of a sense? When you think about it, is it really a question? Is it a command? Are we expecting a certain sort of response or reaction? Or could this actually be viewed as a legitimate question in one way, shape or form? These sorts of simple things that we just say, the understanding, the comprehension, the expected response depends on your cultural background to a great extent. Okay? And this is, of course, part of the cultural capital that has been spoken about since the 1970s. And if there is good resonance between the cultural capital of the teacher and what the teacher is familiar with and the codes that the teacher uses in the classroom, then students will respond accordingly. And if there's a mismatch in those codes between what the teacher is saying and where the student comes from, then there can be problems and there can be a disconnect and there can be a discord. So again, it's not reinventing the wheel. We know that this idea of cultural capital and the mismatch between teachers and students' cultural capital has been around for a while, since the 1970s, but we haven't yet worked out how to really effectively do much about it, it would appear.